before we get into today's video, hey, drink water more. I don't think so. It's coffee day today. I love China. Okay, let's get serious. So I get people asking me all the time about salaries in China, how much they can expect to make. So today I'm gonna give you guys my insight as far as salary ranges and what to look out for when you're looking for a job in China. So a quick background on me. My name's Ty. I'm from Portland, Oregon. I came to China 10 years ago when I was 24 years old. And I came over the way a lot of people came over, and that was teaching English as a second language. I went to work in the city I'm actually still in, Dalian. It's in the northeast. It's about an hour flight east of Beijing, for reference. And I took a job teaching 72 hours a month. So it was around 18 hours a week for 6,600 RMB, which worked out to be just under $1,000 at that time. Then within a year, I got promoted twice, within a year and a half, and I was making double that. I was making about 13,000 RMB. This is back in 2009. Which comes out to be around $2,000. And I was managing a team of 8 teachers, something like that. And I was still teaching a little bit with them, and then I was recruiting teachers with them and training teachers and putting together syllabus and stuff like that. Hence the pay raise. From then I moved on to a sales position, and now I'm back in the education industry. I'm helping students to apply for high schools and universities in America. But let's get back to your job search. So the people that are making the most money here as expats are these people that work for like HP or Nike or Adidas back home, and then they're brought over here for some special project. Maybe it's for a year or 3 years, something like that. They're usually relocated with their families, and they're making a Western salary. Have a private driver and amazing, like they're killing it. Now, if you're not that, which most of us are not, you're gonna be in the salary range that I'm gonna tell you now. So a lot of people that come to work in China are ESL teachers, like I started out 10 years ago. And the salary range is a lot higher, I think, than it was back when I started back in 2008. But it also varies. There's quite a range within this industry. University jobs tend to not pay as well. I don't know, you can find a lot of university jobs that pay as little as $1,000 a month, but up to 2,000. I think $2,000 a month at a university here is on the higher end, but then they also provide housing on top of that, so you don't have to pay for housing, which housing in China can range between 300 and $1,000 a month. Probably more on average around $500 a month would probably be more average. And then the training schools, I think you can, in general, tend to make a little bit more money than a job at a university, but that is not always that way. As far as other jobs like sales, marketing, social media, stuff like that, surprisingly, they do not make as much money as people in the education field, because when you come over as a teacher, right away you can see that teacher providing value. You know, they're going into the class, it's very clear how much money they're bringing in, because the school can calculate, you know, how many kids are in each class, how much their parents have paid for their kids to be there, and so they can justify paying a teacher a lot more. Whereas if people were going to go into a sales marketing job or a social media job here, entry-level stuff, it's hard to prove yourself or prove your value through sales unless you get the numbers, you know, until you prove yourself, or if you have a good track record, or if you have some sort of specialty. So actually you'll find a lot of people in Beijing or Shanghai taking lower salaries, taking maybe around $1,500 a month to get the experience in sales, marketing, or social media, or whatever, just so they're not teaching, because they don't see teaching as a career. So it's kind of, there's some give and take there. As far as salary goes for teaching English in China, I would say that there's a range between 10,000 and 13,000 RMB a month, which is roughly $1,500 to $2,000 a month. I think that is the bulk of English teachers in China are making that much money. Now, some people I'm sure are making less, and some are definitely making more. I think that you can make up to, you know, in the range of 15,000 to 20,000 RMB, which is like 2,500 US to 3,000 US dollars. It's also very doable, but I would say that it's less common than that 10 to 13K range. But let me tell you this, breaking through that 20,000 RMB, that 3,000 US dollar a month mark, is really difficult here in China for most people. I mean, there are definitely expats here that are doing it, for sure, but it's just not as easy, I think, for an expat to make a ton of money here in China. It's kind of weird. Go ask other foreigners that have been here as long as I have, 10 years or several years, and I think they'll tell you the same thing. It happens, but it's really rare to be able to make, you know, 80,000, 100,000, a six-figure USD salary per year. It's very, very difficult to accomplish here in China unless you're brought from one of those big companies, over here. Now, things that can help, of course, are your experience. The more experience you have here, the more marketable you are to these companies, as well as if you know Chinese, there will definitely be more doors that open up for you. So that can help you make more money. Another way, if you're a teacher and you want to come over here and teach, if you can get your teaching certificate back home, like become a proper teacher, get your bachelor's degree in education and become a teacher back home and then come over, you have a chance of making a lot more money here. I know several teachers here that are certified teachers back in their home country, and you can make a lot of money here. You can break through that 3,000 US dollar a month mark, as well as getting a huge benefits plan, like really good insurance, and also free education for your children here with private schools, stipends of up to 12,000, 15,000 US dollars a year for your kids' education. It's pretty cool. So if you can get certified back in your home country as a teacher, then come over, you're gonna make a lot more money. Now, your salary doesn't actually determine the most important piece of information, and that is how much you're saving, right? So I think back in America, it's really difficult for a lot of people to save money, whereas in China, I think it's really easy to save some money. So you can come over here and make 2,000 US dollars a month and save money. You can save 1,000 of that. It's crazy. Now, that really depends on the cost of living on top of your salary. So cost of living I'm going to approach in another video. That will be an episode coming up soon. And one thing before I forget, China is made up of different tiers of cities. They call it first tier, second tier, third tier cities. I'm in a second tier city, Dalian. Beijing and Shanghai are going to be first tier cities. And actually, in those first tier cities, although the cost of living is much higher than second tier, third tier cities, the salary sometimes isn't a lot higher. Oftentimes, especially if you're a teacher, you can make a lot more money in a second tier or third tier city. It's just supply and demand. So in Beijing and Shanghai, there are a lot of foreigners. So schools have their pick, or companies have their pick as to who they want to hire. Whereas in second tier, third tier cities, the supply is a lot lower. There are not as many foreigners. So they're willing to pay a little bit more to get what they need. So that's something definitely you need to take in consideration when you're looking for a job here in China. So there you have it. I've given you some salary ranges to keep in mind. If you guys have any specific questions with regards to working in China or living in China, please leave me a comment below. I'm happy to respond to your comment. And even if it's a really good question that I can make a video about, I'm happy to make a video and answer your question. I love Q&As, so feel free to hit me up with any questions about working in China, living in China, or studying Chinese. Have a great day, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Peace!